All right, so I watched Pompeii out of time last night, so get ready for me to talk a lot about Pompeii for the next couple of days. Overall, I really enjoyed this. This is 3 episodes and there's so much to talk about, but today I wanted to talk about exactly why we know so much detail about the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. And this is because we have an eyewitness account from Pliny the Younger, because he was literally there on that day and watched the whole thing go down. He wrote about his experience about 25 years after the event at the request of his friend Tacitus, and his descriptions were so detailed that modern geologists and volcanologists were able to fully understand the different phases of the eruption. And we get an account of what real people, real Romans, were doing during this eruption to try to help each other. To do this properly, we need to go to the map. When Pliny the Younger was about 17 or 18, he and his mother went down to Misenum, right here, to stay at the estate of his uncle, Pliny the Elder. Pliny the Elder, who was also a prolific writer in his own right, was also an admiral of the Roman Navy, and they were stationed here at Misenum because we got a lot of nice harbors happening right around here. At around 1 p.m. in the afternoon, Pliny the Younger's mother notices a strange cloud in the distance and points this out to everybody present. This is a dramatic painting of that moment because we didn't have photos at the time. Pliny the Elder, being the science-minded individual that he was, sees this happening and is like, I want to go investigate that active volcano situation. So he starts getting his team and a boat ready to go check out the volcano. Pliny the Younger wisely opts to stay behind. As Pliny the Elder is getting ready to leave the house, a messenger shows up with an urgent note from one of Pliny the Elder's friends, a woman named Rectina, and she writes that she is trapped at her home in Stabii and is requesting a rescue. So, Pliny the Elder immediately switches tactics. This is no longer a scientific investigation mission, this is a rescue mission. He's going to go rescue his friends. He originally sets off to sail from Misenum to Herculaneum, but as they start approaching the shore at Herculaneum, that's when all the pumice starts raining from the sky. The helmsman recommends turning back, but Pliny the Elder says, nope, we're not doing that. We're going to stay behind because we're still going to rescue my friends. And this is where things take a turn. At this point in the eruption, the winds are pushing everything to the shore, so people trying to leave by boat are unable to do so. Some time passes as everyone here tries to figure out what to do. Should they shelter in the house? Is it safe to leave? Should they flee inland? And this entire time, Pliny the Elder is actually actively suffering from respiratory issues. Pliny the Younger tells us that his uncle was not healthy. He was overweight, he had a chronic respiratory illness that doesn't have a name, but we can assume it was something like asthma or possibly something more severe. And that's ultimately what ended up killing him, because he was simply not able to breathe. Pliny the Elder died on the beach while he was attempting to flee with his friends, but the friends were able to escape, and when everyone came back 3 days later, they were able to go back and find his remains, which were exactly where they had left him. And all of this information was either things that Pliny the Younger had directly seen himself or were told to him immediately after the fact by everyone who had been able to successfully evacuate and make it back to